Hey, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Ultimate Luna is the newest ultimate to the game, and man, she is so much freaking fun. I was never really a big fan of Luna's playstyle because I didn't really want to play Guitar Hero at the same time as First Descendant, but I powered through and I put 10 catalysts in her right before the ultimate dropped this week, and I'm so glad I did. I immediately used my photon imprinter when I unlocked Ultimate Luna, and she has become one of my most played characters for the past couple of days. She is so ridiculously fun with her new playstyle and her new Transcendent mod, so we're going to jump in and check out her mobbing build. This has kind of been going around everywhere on YouTube, and it is pretty popular, but it can tackle everything in the game. It's really strong. It's also really freaking cool. It's a lot of fun to play. As always, if you guys do need screenshots, they are at the end of the video, or if you jump to this timestamp right here on screen. But without further ado, let's jump in and let's check it all out and see how it works. So this build is going to focus around her new Transcendent mod called Battlefield Concert. Basically, this changes her entire kit to be this new, like, on a stage and have these turrets, and each one of your abilities kind of does something different. Each one of them is going to be giving buffs to yourself and then debuffing your enemies. Real quick, I kind of wanted to show you guys how the new Transcendent mod works and how it affects your abilities and sort of like the gameplay loop with this build. So your skill 1 is obviously going to activate your unique weapon. And then from there, you have your 2, your 3, and your 4. So your second ability is going to be Passionate Sponsor. And basically what this does whenever you activate it and like fire with it, it's going to increase your skill critical hit rate. And then any enemies that you hit with it, they're going to have their movement speed reduced. Your second skill is called Intense Stage. And basically this shoots like little AoE explosions. And anything that's caught in one of those explosions is going to have a decrease to their defense. And then your fourth ability is called Fan Service, and what this one does is it increases your skill power, and it also decreases enemies' attacks. And then basically the whole build plays the same way that Luna plays like all of her other builds. You're going to be matching the ability with the timing, and every time you hit one of those successful notes, it has a chance to give you a stack, and then at max stacks, the next ability that you cast will be the enhanced version. And so basically the enhanced version of Passionate Sponsor will stun enemies when you activate it. The enhanced version of Intense Stage will increase the amount of damage that enemies take. And then Fan Service's increased version decreases the enemy's attack again. So there's a lot of different ways to kind of debuff the enemies, which just makes this build very, very strong, almost kind of like a support build, mixed in with like a mobbing build. Because you are going to be debuffing stuff, you're going to be kind of helping out everyone else's damage, but you're also just increasing your damage because all of your stuff is going to be critically hitting. You're going to be spamming all of your abilities and kind of just mowing everything down. So this is going to be a skill crit build. So of course, we're going to be using the skill crit package of skill insight, skill concentration, emergency measures, and frontlines. These 4 mods just being the main skill critical mods whenever you are building into crit. We're also going to want to power up those actual skills. So we're going to be using maximize power and maximize skill. Now, both of these are going to be giving either our skill power modifier or skill power in general. This just gives us that baseline of a huge bump in our skill power as well as a really big skill power modifier. We're also really want to focus on duration because we want those buffs to last a lot longer and those debuffs to also last a lot longer. So we're going to be throwing on skill extension as well as MP accelerant. Both of these just bumping up our skill duration. And then MP accelerant also gives us a little bit more max MP, which never hurts. Then we're going to throw on an HP mod here. This technically could be a free slot, so if you wanted to kind of mess around and pick something different, just more catered to your playstyle, but we are going to be throwing increased HP here just to have that survivability. It helps to have some sort of health since we're going to be kind of jumping around and in the fight and up in the chaos, so you definitely want to have health in this build. But technically this would be a free slot if you wanted to change it up slightly. And then just to kind of help out with the fact that we are ability spamming and we're using a lot of MP, we're going to be throwing on MP collector just to kind of mitigate that, keep us topped up. We can constantly be using our abilities, and this could potentially give us back MP to just constantly use our abilities even further. For the trigger module, we're going to be using gap in time. This basically just works with all 3 of the skills that we're going to be spamming, so you might as well just get a little bit of extra damage. You could also swap this for power beyond if you wanted to just have more skill power increase, just base. Honestly, both will work really well. It just kind of depends on your preference or your playstyle, but either throw in gap in time or power beyond here. All right, guys, here is the full build. And like I said, the increased HP slot can technically be changed for anything. That is going to be your free slot with this build. If you want more HP and want more survivability, then yeah, definitely throw on increased HP. But you could potentially throw in something like Dangerous Ambush in a boss fight, or even like Decimator. You can also run Potent Collector here since it does work with her custom resource, or even the new module, the Critical Point Breakthrough. This one will be giving you more movement speed and skill power modifier every time that you have like a buff on yourself. So since you're constantly buffing yourself, that can constantly be modifying those for you. I just found this to work kind of the best way, so feel free to copy my build exactly, or, you know, kind of switch it up to your heart's content. But let's go move on to all of the gear and equipment and guns and whatnot, and kind of see how the rest of the build rounds out. So for the weapons, we wanted to pick something that is going to have a super high fire rate, since the unique weapon that actually is like pulled out from Luna's abilities will take the fire rate of whatever gun you're holding and actually cast the abilities faster whenever you are using your abilities. So you want something with super high fire rate, and that's the reason why I picked Python, just strictly because it has an extremely high fire rate, and we're not even really using the gun for what it does or anything. We're not dealing damage with the gun itself. We are just holding this in our hand, making sure that our mounting is matched on our reactor, and then we just want the fire rate from it. So nothing too special here. You can throw some sprint speed cores on this if you would like. You can throw a grappling hook charge on it. Definitely want some fire rate on this as well. But the main thing that you're really wanting to do with this is having a lot of rounds per mag and having high fire rate. So we're going to throw stuff on like compulsive magazine, expand weapon charge, fire rate up. You can also throw on like brisk walk. You can throw on defense master. There's a couple of different things you can throw on this to kind of make it work a little bit better for the build. But for the most part, it's just the fire rate that is the most important thing, because it will make your guns shoot faster, like your abilities shoot faster whenever you have your unique weapon out. For the reactor, we're definitely going to be wanting a non-attribute and tech reactor, just because whenever we do have Battlefield Concert equipped, it makes all of our abilities tech-based. Therefore, all of our abilities are going to be benefiting from a non-attribute and tech reactor. Make sure that you're matching your mounting to your Python or whatever your gun of choice is. And then for your sub roles, there's a couple of really good ones here. I unfortunately cannot find the role that I want, but I would go with something along the lines of skill critical hit rate as well as skill critical hit damage. Since we are a skill critical hit damage kind of build, we want to be building into those as much as we possibly can. I am using skill cooldown and skill critical hit damage, which is really good still. But the cooldown is not as important. We really want to be able to have more crit hit rate and that crit hit damage in this build. So I would go with those two, but unfortunately I just don't have it. For the external components, we're definitely going to want to use the Enlightened Mage set, just because it is the best set for non-attribute characters. We're basically just getting a lot of non-attribute skill power for just using non-attribute skills. And then for the cores, we're definitely going to want to be putting on max HP and defense across the board. And then the substats I would recommend, they're on screen right now. Definitely looking for most of like the MP recovery stuff. The max HP definitely helps kind of for survivability. And then of course your processor doesn't super matter. You can kind of build into the shield or even some like toxin resistance, but this is what I would recommend on screen. For the Arche tuning board, there's two different boards I got for you guys. This one's going to be with non-attribute cohesion as well as enhanced skill power. And then we do get some skill critical hit rate and damage respectively, as well as like some skill cost and whatnot thrown in. This is a pretty basic board. With the new mutant cells, we're going to have this one, which goes with Arche maximization, as well as Arche concentration. These two are going to be kind of giving us respective bumps into either skill critical hit rate or skill critical hit damage. And then we do get some little additional things in here with like movement speed. We still do get some skill critical hit rate and damage as well. This is still kind of a testing board, but I did want to test some of the new mutant cells. So there's two boards for you. I would definitely recommend the first one. But if you wanted to try something different and something new, then definitely try the second one out and see if you like it. But both of these are going to be pretty solid for you. For your Inversion Reinforcement, we're going to go with Arche Circulation Tactic, which is going to be giving us more skill cooldown, Selective Neurostimulation, which is going to be helping us with our MP recovery, and Deploy Resonance Device, which is going to kind of work with our skill duration, just making our skills last longer. These three are just kind of what we actually want to be building into, so these three just make the most sense with the build. Feel free to experiment here, but this is what I've found to kind of work best for me. And then, of course, the fashion, we went with the new Moonlight Stage skin, but feel free to switch this if you guys didn't get this one. I also are rocking the Pool Party head for her, as well as the Sly makeup, the Calling Spawn, and then the Type 40 sword. I gave her this kind of cool, like, dark secret agent sort of feel. I have a little bit of lore behind all of my characters and the choices of, like, the colors and stuff that I use on them. So she kind of fits into, like, this, my headcanon of, like, this evil corporation. Her, Sharon, Valby, as well as my Lepic, they're all kind of like these bad guys. So I have like this weird headcanon with all my characters. Judge me if you want, but that's the kind of vibe that I was going for. So we're going to be using a lot of like different of the blacks, the clear blue black, the clear burgundy, as well as the shiny metal silver. And then, of course, a little bit of like the navy blue, like the matte navy blue. I thought it looked really cool. I've always liked this hair of how like the split colored hair, and I kind of gave it like this sort of accent of like the pink vibe and stuff with the sword on the back. I thought it looked really cool. And if you guys want to hear my lore on any of my characters, just let me know in the comments. Wow, you actually skipped to the screenshots. Nah, I'm just playing. That's totally cool. I hope you enjoy the screenshots, and if you have any questions, please drop a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. All right, guys, that is my ultimate Luna build. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'm also going to put together a Battlefield Artist build that's going to more be catered towards like her guns and stuff. So let me know what you guys think if you want to see that. Also, the next video is going to be a update to my Lepic build, so stay tuned for that as well. Lepic is freaking crazy good now, so I'm super glad that I made that video about him, and now he actually is getting the buffs. So that is going to be something coming to the channel as well very soon, probably within the next day or two. I have a lot of builds that I'm kind of trying to get updated right now. I want to update Freyna as well. I have a Keelan video in the works. There's a lot of stuff I got going on, so just stay tuned for it. But I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, peace out, guys.